Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from the Breakout Racing League Round 8 here at Azerbaijan for Tier 4. Once again for Ardent94 filling in for Johnny Webster alongside Saxman. Saxman, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing pretty good, man. I appreciate you for joining us here, filling in for Webster. Not sure where he's at, but it looks like we might have a pretty exciting race here tonight at Baku without him.
Indeed. Never fails to disappoint unless you're driving it. Sometimes then you'll be a little disappointed here at Baku. Looks like we're just kind of got everybody pinwheeling, waiting on them to load into the session, pick their tire strategies and whatnot. As far as what the selection is, Mitch and Big Harry Jock, the first two to select their tire strategies, it looks like. Loading in now. Qualifying. Going to be underway here momentarily. 18-minute session to set the fastest time you can around this 6-kilometer track, including the infamous Turn 8 Castle section, as I like to call it, Castle Alley.
Yeah, Castle's a extremely tricky part of this track. You almost have to thread it through there quickly and hope you don't pick up any wing damage or terminal damage. I've seen that happen a couple times, and I'm sure these guys will see struggles in that section of the track. But it poses a nice challenge for these drivers tonight.
Indeed.
And getting a weather report in from one of our racers tonight, Jules. Looks like he's going to be racing along with our other 19 competitors. We got clear weather, so these guys not having to deal with any sort of weather like rain or intermittent conditions, so that'll be nice for them tonight.
Well, that's too bad, because this place in the rain, as we saw a few seasons ago, is quite entertaining, because that fast left-right kink at the end of the lap becomes suddenly not so flat out. And creates quite a bit of mayhem. Not that it doesn't in the dry as well.
Well, this track is very slippery. You and I talked about it briefly before the race tonight. Traction here is going to be a challenge. A lot of important traction zones for these guys to get out of, but also just finding a lot of front-end grip. It just seems that this track this year, for some reason, it being a street circuit, maybe they're trying to duplicate real-life conditions, and you expect a lot of dirt and debris and sand and whatnot on the streets of Baku. So these guys are going to have a challenge without the rain as it is.
Yeah, but I think they overdo it just a little bit too much. Monaco gets, space-wise, a lot more usage in a short space of time than the streets of Baku do in terms of probably just traffic. But I think they kind of overdid it a little bit with this place. I think they need to up the grip coefficient on the track just a little bit. Make it a little bit more manageable, because sometimes lower speed corners like turn 10, pretty much, as well as turn 6, it's just really hard to get the power down at all.
Yeah, and that's super critical here. I mean, even getting on the throttle just a split second sooner than the guy in front of you or the guy behind you can mean the difference of opening up a couple tenths down the end of the straightaway here. So
it really can. The other thing is this corner that we're watching Mitch come up to right now, the last corner in Sector 2, that curb, I've seen people in Tier 3 just pretty much almost running four wheels behind it at a couple of them in qualifying, and I'm just, and not getting it validated. I'm just like, okay, well, that seems to be a problem.
Yeah,
I think they need to up the violence of that curb a little bit.
Yeah, the curbs this year at Baku, it's peculiar, because you could last year run you had to run a very soft suspension setup and kind of get away with roll bars. And here, you can get pretty aggressive and still ride these curbs and not be thrown off by them whatsoever.
Yeah, I just think overall they've done good with the curbs, but that one in particular, it's visually such a high curb. Like the ones right where we're watching Mitch go through right now, he's actually out there on a medium tire, by the way. They're really flat, they're really not hardly even there, but they seem to do quite a bit to the attitude of the car. Whereas that one at turn, whatever that is, I guess it's like turn 13 or something. I don't even know what number that corner is. As UFR Ardell sets the fast time at a 140.2 to start the session off. It's visually a very tall curb, and it just really doesn't seem to do much of anything. As Mitch appears to have invalidated this lap. I guess he ran a little bit wide there at the exit of turn 10. One of the few places around here you can actually go off track without making massive contact with a wall.
Yeah,
So that's one of the
can be challenging track limits, I think, and more so not track limits, but just wall limits here. It just seems when that that adrenaline's pumping and you're trying to make a move on some guy, that it's quite easy to run a bit deep or run a little bit wide on exits, or maybe take a little bit too much entry angle, and you can find yourself missing an end plate here. But it's definitely not the likes of Monaco like we saw last week.
Yeah, Monaco is a whole different animal, but this place it's just so much faster. As Mitch abandoned, or that's Mitchie actually. It's not Mitch. We got two Mitches in here apparently.
Two Mitches, yeah. See, Broken Reptile comes through the last sector here, kind of through the S's. He's definitely on it. Broken Reptile has been kind of a quiet bunch of the two McLaren drivers. Had a nice finish last week.
Goes to P2 right there. He's been impressing me in the realistic league, actually. He's running around in the Alfa Romeo and consistently scoring points in one of arguably the worst cars on the grid in the realistic league. So he's actually impressed me quite a bit, driver-wise. He's definitely no slouch.
He's definitely finding his legs here in Tier 4. 2 podiums so far, so I'd have to agree with your statement there.
He just kind of seems to mind his own business, not get himself in trouble, which arguably I think that makes him one of the probably the better drivers out there. He might not be the quickest, but he certainly keeps himself out of trouble and doesn't overtax the car like a lot of people do. And I think we'll see him just continue to improve, because I don't think he's really got a whole lot of experience, if I'm thinking correctly, as far as just seat time doing sim racing. So I think he's still fairly new to this, whereas people like myself, Skeppy, Maverick, Ryan, those guys, all the basically top 2 tiers, we've done this for years on end for the most part.
Yeah, and
I think he's still fairly young and fairly new to this, so it'll be interesting to see how he progresses and see if he can work his way up the ladder and maybe get up into a higher tier next season.
Yeah, and it's great to see guys pick up the craft, and it's a great hobby, and everyone's very competitive, and I expect Broken Reptile to continue along his patterns here of having good finishes, solid finishes, and currently sits 7th in the driver's standings right now, and looking very quick here this week. Broken Reptile sitting a 140.219, so just a couple tenths off of UFR Rage. So very impressive time by him, as we see Getting My Pipe go quickest.
That's a one-lap slap right there. Half a second almost to the name of Get Me My Pipe, advantage-wise over UFR Rage in the Williams. So good job to him for that. UFR Ardell on an outlap right now, currently sitting in P4. Probably just wanted to put in a good banker lap in the Red Bull, because I seriously doubt he's going to be that far off the pace. He's been pretty much the guy to beat here lately in Tier 4. Ardell just a little bit behind him as well.
Yeah, Ardell, a very quick driver this year in 2020. It just seems that he's found some really strong, consistent pace, and our championship leader right now. He's had 3 wins this season. Unfortunately, couldn't pull it together in Monaco.
TK just, he just raised the bar. 139.1.
Yeah, TK, I talked to him earlier this week, over the weekend, and he was feeling pretty confident about his chances here tonight at Baku. Put in some good time trial laps I saw, and he'll be a contender this week, I think, and will be a guy to watch tonight. But yeah,
slotting in just behind him there in P2 at a 139.2, so about a tenth and a quarter down, but still pretty darn close for a 6-kilometer street circuit with some very questionable corners.
Yeah, Echo quickly coming into Tier 4 here and showing a lot of pace, a lot of promise. Another guy. I think the two McLaren guys tonight are going to be guys to watch. Echo just found a bit of trouble last week in Monaco, so hopefully he can wrap together a nice finish. As is Ardell, as I was starting to say, our championship leader just had a rough go at it last week, and I'm sure he's looking to get back up on top this week. That final step of the podium.
Indeed, seeing TK just kind of staying out of the way of everybody right there. Interior Titan, one of the newer drivers to the series here. I think it's only his third race. I think he started in Spain, if I'm not mistaken. Jumps up to P3, just in front of Get Me My Pipe. So, solid effort right there from the Haas driver. Looking farther down the field, BRL Phantom and Wrathful in the two Mercedes, running 8th and 9th at the moment. Wrathful's just finished a lap. Phantom's about to start a lap. As ER10 Motorsports, the Raccoon on a tricycle, 140.001, and UFR Rage only 1,000th of a second behind at a 140.002. So very close times there between those two guys.
An Interior Titan.
Along with
snuck in there with a 130.5.
Yeah, BRL Phantom's actually diving into the pits there, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Looks like Mitchie starting another lap. Oh, he's got wing damage there, so I hope he was finishing that lap, because otherwise that's not going to bode very well for this one.
Yeah, Mitch 712 is on the medium tire. He's currently out on the soft tire now, but did set a lap on the mediums. He was our guy last week that we kept an eye on. Got a nice, solid podium finish there. He's showed some promising pace all season long, but I'd be curious to see if Mitch can continue to build upon what he started last week in Monaco and kind of chuck his name up the leaderboard right now. He's coming through Sector 3. Car looks pretty good. It looks a little bit loose. Showing a bit of signs of oversteer, and that just goes back to the nature of the track as he almost touches the wall there on the exit.
Indeed, it's kind of like sliding around on a greased frying pan here for some reason. Even though the car is just generating a ton of downforce, especially through a corner like this, it just really doesn't feel like it ever settles into the track all that well around this particular circuit.
Yeah, it really doesn't, and it just is a matter of getting rhythm underneath your belt and just kind of dealing with it. As we see Mitch, let's see what he's going to do, and he's going to go top of the board with the 130.061. So Mitch, like I called, looking to build upon some momentum found in last week. Yeah, in Monaco, and we're going to see him at the top of the leaderboard right now, sitting on provisional post. So nice lap there by Mitch 712. The car looks very unstable. Curious to see
so
if
we're
that
going to throw a bone
race.
right here down to Webster's fella, Big Harry Jock, currently coming up to finish his lap. See what he can do in the Haas. See if he can get up anywhere near his teammate in P5. Hasn't had the best run of luck when I've been commentating and watching, because he just seems to always get in a little bit of trouble of one brand or another. Looks like he's going to do a solid 142.5, so just elevates himself off the back row of the grid for the moment. Sergeant Milk and Like Me are not both at a 144.4 and not having a time respectively. So currently slowest of the guys, I would say, that really have a representative time. Probably wanting to do one more run to see if he can maybe get up above that. It's interesting to see that you still got guys out there doing medium runs instead of going to the soft tire. It just seems like it's a huge difference around here, pace-wise. Like, you really can't do anything qualifying-wise on the medium tire.
Yeah, you're almost hoping to run that counter strat, and the only guys banking on hopefully not seeing a safety car, or an untimely safety car that is, and making the medium to hard strategy work for them. But I just feel like that's very tough. There's a lot of time to be made up in the early stages of this race on the soft tire, and you can find yourself on your back foot on the medium tire. But it gives you the option, if a safety car does come out, to kind of maybe play your cards a little bit different, maybe go to a two-stop strategy.
Indeed, which could pay off if you can, if you get an early safety car starting on the soft. It almost works out more in your favor, I think, to jump onto a set of mediums if it's in the first couple of laps and just basically split the remainder of the race in half on that, because that gets you away from the guys that you are racing, onto a harder tire that's going to maintain that pace a little better, while really not being all that slow in race pace wise. But I'm honestly a little bit surprised. I'd be a little shocked to see somebody do this, but I'm almost started wondering about this place. Can you maybe stretch the soft to the medium and still make it to the end?
Yeah, it's very challenging.
The hard tire is just way slow around here.
Yeah, it's slow. It takes forever to come up into its temps. And you see Echo, he set up purple sector 1. Let's see what he's looking at as far as sector 2 goes. He's been showing some quick pace this lap. Car looks very planning. He goes purple sector 2. So Echo is moving along here. McLaren driver looking to put it on the top spot with provisional pole right now. So Echo makes his way down the front straightaway, and he's gonna be one of our few guys out on a lap. It looks pretty good. It's good enough for a 138.7. So almost 2.5, almost 3/10 up on second place Mitch 712. So fantastic lap by McLaren driver Echo.
Indeed.
3x3 so
McLaren. I think that's going to be pretty tough to beat at this stage. You got about 3 minutes left in the session, so that'll be his last lap. Mitch and TK both on an out lap right now. TK coming up towards, Mitchie retires there. Had an issue, looks like, coming through the fast kink onto the front straightaway.
Yeah, ER10 Motorsport is going to be our first guy, it looks like, on a lap.
Yep.
I'm not sure he's going to be able to make it to do 2.
Mitchie, I think Mitchie caught the left-hand wall and then ricocheted across into the right-hand wall because he's way off on the right-hand side of the track, retired. Run the dual tires from the session there, I believe, in the pit lane. Looking back at the guys who I believe are going to be fighting over the pole here, we are going to have TK coming down to start his lap. Ardell now leading the pits, so I think Ardell is going to be the last one running. I think he may have a little bit left in the tank still. You got 3 guys right here that could all very easily take pole away from Echo.
Yeah, it's been pretty quiet. There's a lot of guys that waited to go out in the outlap, so traffic is going to be something that these guys are going to be battling as we see ER10 Motorsport getting on the wall there. Kind of coming off that back straightaway out of Castle. Struggling, it looks like, for a little bit of grip on the exit of these corners. But the track is going to be very busy. As you can see, a line of cars forming, basically from the Red Bull driver all the way back to the racing point. It looks like Sergeant Milks. So curious to see how this dirty air impacts some of these guys on a track that's already pretty slick, and ER10 Motorsport abandoning his lap.
And TK actually has he's spun around at the exit of turn 6 and damaged the front wing of the car, so that is his qualifying over Mitch starting his lap going down that second straightaway now.
Yeah, TK's gonna be frustrated with that. He was probably looking to maybe get the car put on pole, but I expect him to still have some pretty good race pace. And Mitch sliding that car around. We talked about it last session that he was out on track and battling for a bit of grip, and it looks like that's the case here right now. As we see somebody has lost it in the Castle section. Is that TK? He's out.
I think that is TK.
Yeah, TK is bended.
He's out. Which that'll be affecting everybody else's lap behind him, so that's unfortunate. We'll see what Mitch can do here coming down towards the end of Sector 2, see if he has anything for Echo's time up at the top.
These 2 McLaren drivers going out together, looking to play a tow, but behind them is Broken Reptile, and he looks like he's on another quick lap. I think he's looking to improve dramatically here in the final seconds of qualifying. See what his teammate can do. His teammate's up on pole right now. And he's going to abandon, unfortunately. So Broken Reptile looking at least starting well down the order in the middle of the pack.
Indeed. So Mitch not able to improve enough to get pole, improves his time and on his position, gets under a 139, a 138.9. Anybody else possibly able to do anything? UFR Ardell is about 3/10 up right now. Interior Titan as well coming down. He is down on his time, so he is not improving right now. Still ran a purple sector 2 for him, so
yes, looks like
make of that.
It might be able to improve. It's real tight right there with him and Ardell. TK not able to improve as well, so let's see what the Haas driver can do. He's had a good result this year.
Indeed.
He's looking to get another one in there. He's not going to improve his time.
Does not improve his time there. UFR Ardell is, he's had a bad sector 2. He's over almost a second down there, coming onto the main straightaway.
BRL Exia is going to abandon, not able to put it together on the soft tire, so that's unfortunate for the other Red Bull driver. So we see,
Sergeant
looks
Milk
like
coming down to the line.
Yep. He's right
He's going to
there.
jump up P7.
Respectable time by the Racing Point driver there. I know he's looking for a bit of luck this season. Hopefully that will kick off. We see Ardell does improve. And Give Me My Pipe goes up to 4th.
Gets up to P4, so he does jump UFR Ardell. Might have got a little bit of a toe off of him actually coming down the straightaway there. So maybe UFR Ardell unintentionally kind of shot himself in the foot there a little.
Phantom, quick all season, goes up to 8th. Let's see what his teammate does. Wrathful right behind the 2 Mercedes driver. Oh, and he's going to abandon.
Abandons
so
the lap.
Wrathful, Hockey Hess, both abandoning the lap. Hockey Hess, pretty quiet session from the Racing Point driver there. That looks like our session done. Test Signs is on a slow in lap, it looks like, unfortunately. Everyone else is in the pit. So, very quiet, but pretty status quo quality session. If I had to say Ferrari Nut, what do you think?
Yeah, amazingly didn't see anybody aside from TK who already had damage Bennett just trying to go too fast through turn 8, so fairly calm in that respect. But yeah, a few guys retiring from the session, like me or not, starting shotgun on the field in the Alpha Tauri, so not setting a lap there. I've got to imagine he'll be running an alternate strategy. That's one thing I have noticed is that in my personal experience, the hard tire is not really a great tire to start on here. It didn't work out so great for me because by the time I got around to turn 8 on lap 1, the thing just did not want to turn, and I ended up clipping the wall and just unraveled from there. And I was quite frankly lucky to come away with a point. So very easy to have that come undone. You really have to just drive like a grandma on that first couple of laps until the tires get worked in.
Yeah, those hard tires take at least 2-3 laps to come up to temps and find their own. And on a heavy full fuel load, it's a bit of an ask at the start of the race. So some of these guys starting down in 11th, down through the end of our order of Like Me or Not, be curious to see if anybody takes a hard tire, but I think most of them might be looking to take the medium tires. But Echo putting together a nice lap at 38.750. Gaps Mitch by just a 10.5. We see TK, he found trouble at the end of quali. He starts P3, Give Me My Pipe in 4th. Ardell 5th. 6 Interior Titan. Sergeant Milk is going to be starting in 7th. Nice spot there by the Racing Point driver. Phantom 8th. ER10 Motorsport gets a good quali session in finally. 9th, and then Rage is going to be starting in 10th. And we'll have to pick up the order as we kick off the next session. What are you looking for in some of these drivers tonight? You've seen some of these guys in action, and I'm sure some of them are going to be looking to get out of Monaco and just kind of get some points on the board.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are probably just looking to get through Monaco and this race and just get on to an actual, even though Canada's actually technically a street circuit as well, it's a perimeter road around the Ile Notre Dame, so you got 3 technically street circuits right slap in a row, probably just looking to make their way through this and get back onto some actual tracks, and after that they get the exact opposite. They get a test track after that for a race. Everybody has their opinion on France. Personally, I like it, but a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't like it. It's flat, it's featureless, it's boring. The layout's actually nice. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that it's perfectly flat, but that'll be an interesting race here in a few races' time. But meanwhile, right now, we've got 26 laps of this street circuit here in Baku coming up to decide Tier 4 and see how that influences their championships. Who is going to be the driver you're going to keep an eye on tonight?
You know, I really like what TK's had to share with me, and just seeing his pace and quality tonight. Of course, you can't count out the 2 McLaren drivers, but I'm going to go with TK. I don't believe he's ever won a league race. He's been close a couple times, and I think he'd be real pleased with himself to get a nice finish tonight here in BRL, especially with Tier 4 guys. They're showing some quick pace. So, in Dark Horse, I like the Mercedes drivers. Phantom's been quick when it's counted most this year, so I'm going to go with Phantom as my Dark Horse tonight. He's starting down the order, though, so we'll see what happens.
Good picks in both those categories. I'm just not really sure who to look at here, to be perfectly honest. kind of been a bit of a mixed bag every time I've seen one of these races. So we'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah, and I think that's a great thing. It gives these guys the chance to be competitive and hopefully find a bit of success and just know that they can never count themselves out of a victory. So I think we've seen quite a few drivers show true pace, and it just kind of depends on what the track is. But Baku is always a challenge, and of course there's always a factor of not just a safety car, but several safety cars, and that can definitely shake up the order.
Indeed, safety cars always playing a bit of havoc in these races, especially if they come out while the pack is somewhat split up when they're going by the pit lane. You get guys on different strategies. I really wish they would do away with the delta after the pit lane, because that's just kind of a goofy thing.
Yeah,
like you just spent 20 seconds. You just spent at least 10 seconds stationary, so it's kind of goofy.
It's very goofy. But finishing out our starting lineup, Broken Reptile, first McLaren driver, he's going to be starting on the medium tire, so he opted to kind of start on the counter strat there. Hockey Hess starting 12th on the soft tire. Then we have Wrathful and Mitchie in 13th and 14th, both those drivers on the medium tire. And interesting to see Run the Jewels starting 15th, 16th would be Test Signs, but those guys are on the hard tire. And then our final three starting positions of Exia, Big Harry Jock, and Like Me or Not on the medium tire. So a bit of a mixed bag once we get down into the 11th through 19th positions. But those guys, I think if they can make it work, could find themselves up the order, and then they just have to keep themselves out of trouble, though. As we see typically here at Baku, the field does bunch up the first really 3 or 4 corners. It's not even just turn one, so that'll be something these guys look to keep an eye out as they avoid any potential trouble.
Yeah, those 90-degree corners that start off this lap really do tend to do little to separate out the field, especially with the long straights between them. Just really allows people to use the slipstream to suck up to the back of the car in front of them, even after they get a slightly better exit. So Echo, I think, will be all right down to turn 1. He's going to have, I believe, the inside of the track here, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe, he may have the outside. No, he's going to have the outside.
Yeah, he's going to have the outside.
So I don't think he'll be in too much trouble. Mitch may have a look if he gets a better start, but that will just create chaos behind, I think, because when they get down to turn 2, it narrows up significantly, and it's a much slower corner than turn 1. So we will see what happens. Everybody's in their grid slot. We're just waiting on the lights to come on here. There we go. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go for Baku.
Oh, Mitch gets a terrible start. He lights them up.
Mitch
is going to back up those guys.
Very bad start. That's going to clog up that inside line. That's going to allow TK to get around into P2. And we got cars around in the back. Several cars making contact as we go through turn 2 with the leader.
It's tight.
Mitch maintains P3. Everybody very tightly there.
Tier tight, struggling for
And we got
traction.
a safety car.
Safety car already.
We had the same thing in Tier 3 that we just broadcasted. Apparently, it just decided, we're just going to have a lap 1 safety car.
Yeah, TK got a good start off the line. He showing him in 5th right now, but he's sitting up in 2nd. Ferrari driver got a clean getaway. I was curious to see if he was going to cover up against Mitch, but didn't need to do it. Mitch and the Renault driver struggling for traction off the line on the dirty side of the track there on the inside. So bit of a challenge for the Renault driver. He's going to be looking to try to make up some spots here once we get back to green.
Indeed. Dirty side of the track here apparently is very dirty. Don't get a good start from that side of the track, it seems like, in any form or respect. So as we roll around here, anybody going to maybe take the opportunity to get off those soft tires possibly at the back like Hockey Hess or UFR Rage, who I believe they started a good bit higher up than they did. Yeah, they lost 6 and 9 positions respectively, so they got the short end of the stick there. Are they maybe going to dive in and try to jump on the medium and maybe outlast these guys a little bit as far as pace goes? Maybe get some clear air, get away from everybody.
Yeah, track position's super critical here. I don't know if it makes sense. So we see Wrathful, he's riding around. He's going to have to come in and replace his wing, and unfortunately for him, he's on the medium tire, so he'd be on the preferred tire right now. But we see Interior Titan, Sergeant Milk dive for the pits. It's going to be our first 2 drivers taking the baits there, if you want to call it that. They're going to fall quite down the order, and this is the struggle with stopping. Of course, we see Wrathful and Hockey has, so those guys need to come in and change wings, but Interior Titan and Sergeant Milk, quicker drivers, but now they're going to find themselves at the back of the pack, and that's tricky here at Baku. You can back up, and you can find yourself in trouble with another driver, and it's not like this place is super easy to pass outside the 2 DRS straights. So it's gonna be tough for them. As we see Wrathful is gonna put on that hard tire, Rage on the mediums as well. So curious to see how these guys make out.
Yeah, I think going to the medium tire here after you've started on the soft, that just gives you freedom to kind of do pretty much whatever you want tire strategy-wise. I mean, now they can just split it right down the middle and do, 13 and 14 lap stints, or do a 12 and a 13 lap stint on those 2 sets of medium tires that they've got, which if they didn't use in qualifying are both brand new and able to easily do that. So I think overall that's going to really help those 2 recover their race as things go on. A lot of guys looks like diving into the pits and putting that on. Let's see who is the first car. So yeah, the bottom 5 cars all making a stop there to make repairs or change strategies after the start.
Yeah, our biggest mover tonight, Exia, we haven't really talked much about him. He's been pretty quick last few races. He's up 8 spots. As we see Test Signs and Like Me or Not, those guys, even Big Harry Jock, who run the Jewels, also picking up spots from Sergeant Milk, obviously Interior Titan coming in. Interior Titan got a terrible start before that safety car, now opting to come in and put on mediums. He's down 10 spaces, or 10 spots from where he started, so it's going to be tricky for those guys to make up that time, I think. We'll have to see.
Yeah, this place is a very interesting, it's got a very interesting dynamic when it comes to the different tires. So it's one place I think maybe a 2-stop race like that, if you get this kind of awkward early safety car period, I think it can work out for you in that respect, but it's a little more difficult.
Yeah, the tire situation is it can play to your advantage. It can cost you as well. As we see, some of these guys don't even want to warm up the soft tire just because the dead gear on the soft tire is so high. So they're going to be riding around on fairly cold tires, and we've seen it in this particular tier, and I'm sure you have in others, where guys, even under safety cars, seem to find a bit of trouble trying to keep heating those tires, and they'll spin off and pick up damage.
Yeah, for example, Trace Me in the Tier 3 race actually caught the wall at turn 8 just under safety cars, so I know exactly what you mean there.
Yeah, so it's, but you got to keep the heat in the tires, but at the same time, the soft tire does wear out fairly quickly here. These guys are going to want to try to get another, if they can, kind of like you called it. Maybe if they can get some good laps, where the tag isn't as high, and of course these safety car laps help dramatically, but maybe they can go from the soft to the medium tire. But it'll be a stretch, to say the least. I don't think I've seen anybody try it yet.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a stretch. I believe we're going to see the safety car come in here at the end of this lap when we get back to racing. The way this track is actually set up, it'll be very interesting to see how Echo decides to play this, because they can't pass him until the start-finish line. But it's a very, very long way down there, and that can cause problems towards the back of the pack with the accordion effect between some of the drivers. So we'll see what happens here. Restarts are always a bit of an interesting thing around here. Saw some big accidents in F2, I think, a few years back.
Yeah, and it looks like Echo is now just coming off the back of the safety cars. We see safety car in this lap. We get the message from our race director. And so we're going to see these guys go green, but it looks like Echo's moving at a pretty good clip. What you don't want to see is where he slows the pack up dramatically and then guys start running into the back of each other, and it looks like he is away.
Yeah, he pretty much just
TK is making a move up the inside.
Oh, yeah, that's the danger of that. So
yeah, so it looks like the McLaren driver going a bit too soon, but what's going on here?
Looks like he may have initiated that move possibly before the start-finish line.
Interesting.
Yeah, something's up here because Mitch is now ahead of Echo, and he's looking at TK.
And we see Get Me My Pipe making an inside move on Echo. He's going to leave a bit of room for Get Me My Pipe, Echo is, but still going to lose that position. He now drops down to 4th, so the McLaren driver might have a bit of trouble after this restart. Maybe cold tires a factor as well. We didn't see any of those guys really warming up their tires. He went really early, so looking like he's going to be caught out by his strategy play of going sooner than later, coming off the safety car.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that was it's the opposite effect you have there. Just went early as he could, and as we got Ardell running through the runoff there at turn 8. That's not going to be good for him, I believe.
Saw a bit of in-plate as well, catching the back end. Ardell running deep there. It looked like a darker in-play. It looks like maybe it might have been test signs, but already seeing guys catching trouble at Castle under full racing conditions. So cold tires a bit of factor, not having the rhythm yet, after running all those laps on their safety car, but these guys are going to want to settle in as quickly as possible. TK is off to the races. The Ferrari driver opening up a half-second gap already to Mitch, which is crucial for DRS.
It is. If you can get outside that 1 second gap around here, that can be huge because the straightaways are so long around this track. TK sets fast lap at 147. That'll fall like a stone here in just a minute. Got a lot of guys really close at the moment. Different tire strategies still filtering out. Oh, wow. Looks like that might have been, I think, ER10 getting a little offline there on the exit of turn 1. I didn't really see who that was too well.
Interior tightening, Sergeant Milk, our drivers that opted to stop for the medium tires, trying to make up any bit of ground. They haven't done much. The two Haas drivers, interior tighten being the quicker of the two. Big Harry Jock, though, sitting up there in 13th. Wonder if you'll see any team orders there as we see Run the Jewels run a bit wide
making
too.
A move on Like Me or Not, or getting a move made on him by Like Me or Not. Now he's got Big Harry Jock over the back of him in the Haas.
It looks like Jules is struggling with those hard tires. You called it best, man. Those hard tires take a while to come in, and when they're in, they don't even feel like they ever are. So, see, Run the Jules, a bit of lockups here, so he's struggling a bit for traction.
Yeah, traction is at a premium around this track, so the tire plays a big factor in that around here.
Like me or not, all over the gearbox and test signs and the Williams driver struggling for a bit of traction out of the Castle section. He's also on that harder tire as well.
Almost makes me wonder whether it's almost a better... Oh, wow! Big hit right there. Interior Titan and Big Harry Jock. Oh, the two Haas's coming to grief with each other there. That is just not good.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Another safety car.
Yeah. Just catching the back end of that. That looked pretty nasty. Gosh, that's what we were talking about, or at least what I kind of was bringing up was, if it works out, great, but you almost don't want to be back there.
A lot of guys,
positions.
TK getting hung out to dry right here. Broken Reptile and VRL Exit on the medium staying out, as is Mitchie, but everybody behind TK dove into the pits.
Yeah, but I wonder if TK is thinking he can, under safety car, he takes the softs and go onto that medium tire. Maybe, but you always want to stop when there's a safety car. There's more time to be lost when you're out in green conditions versus pitting under yellow. So, kind of odd to not see TK do it, but maybe he thinks that this is a better strategy to stay on the soft tire a little bit longer. But again, we talked about it, Interior Titan finding a bit of trouble in the back of the pack. Even though he was a little bit quicker in quality, it's almost like you don't want to be back there. even though maybe going on to that medium tire seemed like the better strategy choice at the time.
Yeah, well, it's just a matter of you need to let it kind of settle out a little bit before you really start trying to make moves, especially through, the twistier parts of the track. Down the straightaway, it's a little bit more calm it's a bit more, not so much easy, but you have a little bit more to play with than trying to come into a braking zone and try to pass people. I've always looked at it this way. There's 3 ways to pass somebody: on the entry to the corner, on the exit of the corner, and on the straightaway. Straightaway is obviously the easiest. Exit of the corner is following that, and the hardest way is to get by somebody on the entry to the corner, because everybody's pushing it right to the limit on braking and getting into the corner.
Yeah, the braking zones. You and I talked about it when we were at the Netherlands circuit. It's just the braking zones are so short in these cars. It's almost like you got to get the better exit, and instead of forcing something up the inside of somebody in the braking zone,
you really do.
A corner. And our Exia, BRL Exia, our biggest mover, up 14 places. Michi 950 in the Alpha, showing some strong pace and just keeping it clean thus far. He's up 10 places as well.
Indeed. So strategy-wise, this has become a very interesting race because TK is now the only man out there.
Now he's looking to have to replace his front wing. He binned it coming into the pit lane. Probably a bit of frustration from the Ferrari driver himself.
Yeah, but you know what? He's going to be pretty much plumb last anyway, so...
Yikes. TK. Keep it clean, buddy. Don't battle that frustration and catch yourself out there with terminal damage on the entry to pit lane. Still a lot of racing left to do here, as we have just a hair under 20 laps to go in this Grand Prix.
So, Broken Reptile assumes the lead of the race, followed by BRL Exia and Sergeant Milk and Wrathful, who have all yet to, the 2 fronts have yet to stop, and the 2 behind them stopped on the first safety car and have now got themselves in a quite good position. Wrathful especially being on the hard tire. Some of those guys behind him might be a little quicker, but they will have to stop again because I don't think he can take that medium tire to the end 20 laps, or if you do, it's going to be very secondhand. What do you think, Saxman?
Yeah, I don't see it happening. Even these guys, I know some of them are on assist and traction control is part of that, but even then, it's almost like you almost have to battle yourself the whole race. Try not to wear out those rear tires. There's just too many, slow to quick traction zones where you see a lot of these tires falling off, not necessarily the fronts, but the rears. So that'll be interesting to see if he can take that tire all the way to the end.
Yeah, I think it'd be a hard push to even really get the mediums with any sort of pace to the end, or even actually.
But really, there's
yeah.
Almost the strategy here is a little bit off. It looks like we're looking at least a 2-stop for most of these guys on the medium tires. Wrathful on older hard tires there, but Give Me My Pipes, ER10 Motorsport, and then Ardell Interior Titan farther down the line. UFR Rage and Michi on newer hard tire compounds. So those tires will get you to the end, but they're going to be extremely slow. And there might be time to be made up by coming on and just changing off those tires anyway towards the end of the race. Especially if some of these medium tire runners have to do the same.
Indeed. So safety car in this lap. Looking for the restart from Broken Reptile. The other McLaren leading us down. Sergeant Milk sticking the nose out to the side there. Everybody fanning out down the straightaway. Yeah, he timed that a lot better than his teammate, I think. TK severe collision penalty for colliding with his teammate, actually.
And he's back into the pits. It's all come apart for TK. Picking up a bit of wing damage. This is going to be painful as he sees the field run away from him under green conditions now.
Indeed. The only thing he's got going for him right now, he is pretty quick, and he's going to be able to... he's going onto the hard tire. I think he can make it to the end, and he'll be running in clean air, so that'll definitely help him a lot in that respect. The problem is he's going to be, 20-odd seconds off the back of the field from the outset here.
Yeah, the The Ferrari driver is going to be looking for a strategic safety car, I imagine, at least to help him close up the gap, or even a nicely timed VSC. But he'll be on the harder tire now.
Yep.
But
anything to close down that gap a little bit.
oh, the broken reptile get in the wall there at Castle. No front end wing damage. His car's skipping a little bit, so maybe a little bit of lag on his end. So see Axia losing a bit of time. The McLaren driver showing some nice pace here, opening up a second plus gap to the second place driver of DRL Axia. That's crucial for DRS, so the McLaren driver showing some strong pace. I like it. And then Sergeant Milk in Racing Points, he was one of the guys that stopped earliest, if you remember, and he finds himself up in P3. So the safety car timing works out perfectly for him, and he didn't really put that many laps on his medium tires. So he's looking pretty
really
good
hasn't.
right now.
He is. He's got the Renault of Mitch all over the back of him, but he is looking to make a move for P2 on Exia. Not going to have enough to do it right there. That's going to put him a little bit under fire from Mitch down to turn 2, I think, but he's going to cover him off just a little and defend that position. Possibly have another look. Exia gets a little... Oh, they both get a little sideways out of turn 2. No DRS yet. Mitch is all over the back of him on the right-hand side going down to turn 3. That's where you really want to be, so you can pinch that guy down through turn 3 on the exit and keep his momentum down up towards turn 4 as UFR Rage retires in the pit lane. The two Ferrari guys just having an absolutely abysmal night right now. Looks like we got a car off at turn 3. I believe that is Tess Science who rejoins the track. Doesn't look like he suffered any damage, just a little bit of maybe damage to his pride by running way deep at turn 3 and having to reverse to get back onto the track.
I'll tell you who's looking real racy right now is Hockey Hess in the Racing Points. Been watching him through this lap. He took a look on Wrathful, and it caught Phantom out a little bit. So Phantom ran really wide on the exit 1, but I'll tell you what, the Racing Point driver, Hockey Hess, he made a terrific move on Wrathful in the braking zone coming out of turn 2 down into turn 3. So he's now worked his way up to P5. He finds himself behind his teammate, Sergeant Milk, in P4.
Indeed, the two Racing Points running very close together. Oh, as the Sergeant Milk gets very sideways there off that final braking corner. That may put him under fire from his teammate just due to the loss of momentum. I think Hockey Hess is going to have a pretty easy move done here. Don't think his teammate's going to fight him too much.
Looks like he might a little bit. Hockey Hess button engaged. He has an overtake on DRS. He's going to try to make this move coming into the braking zone. Turn 1. Oh, guys, be careful. We don't need another Ocon Perez situation again.
No.
Ooh, Hockey
Hess getting very
rear end.
Yeah, loses the rear end just a little bit there. That's going to allow Wrathful to close up on the back of him. As it looks like Echo's actually crawling all over the back of BRL Phantom right now, trying to pick up P7 from the Mercedes driver.
Yeah,
Phantom
Hockey Hess
possibly running a little bit less downforce there because he just pulled the McLaren down the straightaway quite a bit, enough to clear him into turn 3 actually. As TK now sets fast lap way in the back there in the Ferrari.
Wrathful losing a bit of an end plate there coming on the exit of turn number 3. We have a bit of a train.
Good for him.
Yeah, a bit of a train forming behind Sergeant Milk. Hockey Hess is going to want to make this move quicker or sooner than later. And, as we see Phantom into the wall there, so that's going to hurt. The two Mercedes drivers finding trouble here on this lap, both causing damage to their front end plates. This is going to cost each of those guys a bit of downforce, which is crucial here. I'll tell you what, Hockey Hess has lost it. Oh no, Hockey spins it around. It looks like he lost it.
Ooh.
I didn't quite catch it, but he has a bit of wing damage, but lost it coming through those quick left-handers once you make your way past the castle section. So I wonder if he caught a bit of curb the wrong way.
Caught a bit of curb the wrong way, or maybe had a little bit of help there, possibly. Because that's a very unusual place unless you're just running very minimal downforce. And this right here is that's just a rude thing to do right there.
Well, it's hard to get out of the way
damage.
there. Yeah, it's hard to get out of the way.
But when you got
here.
damage, it's just a rude thing to do. Is just sit in front of somebody like that through a really quick corner where you know you're going to have to slow down a lot compared to them.
See Hockey dive into the pits. The front nose of that Racing Point not looking too good. I do like the helmet though, Hockey, but as we move farther up the action, a little bit of opportunity for Mitchie and Big Harry Jock. They were held up by the Racing Point driver on his way in to replace his front wing, but looks like that has settled out now.
I'm gonna interrupt you there. We got a pretty much 4-car fight over, looks like 8th place with ER10. There's a couple of cars fighting for position, I believe, just in front there in Echo and Wrathful still. But these guys, ER10, Get Me My Pipe, UFR Ardell, and Interior Titan, all running right pretty much nose to tail as they come through Sector 2. Wouldn't be shocked to see a couple of moves possibly being tried to be made towards Turn 1 and Turn 3 the next time around, as Echo is just looking, lurking, trying to find a way past that damaged Mercedes in front of him through Sector 2. Got a bit of a run up the hill here. Not gonna think better of that right there.
Yeah, Wrathful putting a little bit of block on the McLaren driver. Echo showing a little bit of frustration. Calm down, buddy. A lot of racing. Don't want to find yourself out with wing damage. But he's also looking to get around these guys as quickly as possible. Oh, and he's lost it.
Oh, and he spun.
Oh, and he's picked up wing damage. That's exactly what I was just talking about. These guys get in a hurry, and there's really no need. Echo's going to be pounding his steering wheel.
He's getting a run on Wrathful. And he's going to have DRS down the straight, so he's got that move already almost halfway done before he even kicks on the DRS. So that's going to be move done before they even get to the start-finish line. And now he's just got to pretty much not get slipstream back by the Mercedes, defend the inside, and see if he can get away down the next straightaway.
And Give Me My Pipe finds himself behind Wrathful now. So this bunching of cars and really kind of coming on the heels of Wrathful getting into the wall and picking up that wing damage, but Give Me My Pipe, DRS engaged, but Ardell's giving him a nice look. These guys looking very racy. As we see Interior Titans allowed him to kind of make some ground up and finds his way on the back of the gearbox of the Red Bull in front of him.
Indeed, so Mitch has also got around DRL exit for P2 now and looking
for Give Me My Pipe, making a very tough move, trying to stick
and Ardell's going to probably pick up a spot on Get Me My Pipe here as they come down towards turn 7. No, he backs out.
Smart driving by the Red Bull driver Ardell, just looking to kind of make his way through this pack right here, find some points this weekend, and just get out of here. He's our championship leader, has had some really strong performances this year, but Give Me My Pipe defending on the Red Bull driver as he looks to make his way around Wrathful. He's probably getting as frustrated as Echo was, but as we see Ardell, man, he's all over the gearbox of Give Me My Pipe.
He is looking for a hole to get in so he can get out in some clean air and maybe make something of this. But he's got to be patient, otherwise he's going to end up in... And speaking of which, commentator's curse. There goes Ardell.
Thanks, Ardell. He's going to be upset with himself. And, you know, and I hate to say this, we're watching all this battling going on in the back of the pack. It was Mitch 712 did make the move on BRL Exia. And so he has opened up quite a gap to Exia. Exia struggling for pace here. The Red Bull driver teammates to Ardell finding himself up in third, but Mitch showing some really strong pace, and now he has DRS on Broken Reptile, and he's within 0.5 of a second now. A lot of action going on here tonight. A lot of good racing.
Yeah, and also a lot of guys just spinning out on their own, trying to make a little bit too much hay while the sun shines, and just losing control of the back of the car. Kind of think that everybody's setup philosophy around here has been to run lower rear wing just because of the massive straightaways, but in these traction zones you just really don't have the grip, which is kind of biting them.
Yeah, and it's almost the curse of two sides of the sword. You almost need that straight line speed, but in these slower sections it pays dividends to have that rear grip and just overall grip on this slick surface here. So we see Sergeant Milk push up on the back of Phantom. For a bit there, they were side by side through the first sector of the lap here. Don't want to take away from what's going on up there. It looks like Mitch is closing up on Broken Reptile, but again, these guys still looking extremely racy. Sergeant Milk slapping the wall there as he makes his way onto the front straightaway, trying to close back up on the Phantom. Give Me My Pipe is still struggling to get around Wrathful and Mercedes. Mercedes making his way through the S section.
Now
he's
got Interior Titan all over the back of him.
Oh, this is going to be close. They're racing hard back here, guys. This is some terrific
really are.
action. Oh, we see Give Me My Pipe defending. They're waving, guys. Just watch the waving. Watch the waving. And it's going to settle in, it looks like, as they're going to wait to the next straightaway to kind of go at it. Tell you what, Rathfel's just getting, even with that damage, getting better exits. And it's super critical here, you know. Even if you get a poor exit. Yeah, poor exits here hurt, even with ERS and DRS. If the driver in front can get a nice exit, it would just be enough to hold off a guy for a couple laps, and definitely almost. I wonder if Mitch is settling in behind Broken Reptile. He's letting him do all the work. They're both on the medium tires. Broken Reptile on older mediums. And maybe just the pace difference in the age of the tire is allowing Mitch to kind of settle in and just kind of play clean and conserve ERS.
Mitch may just be, he may just want to, he may try to conserve some ERS here, just sitting behind the McLaren in front, attempting to maybe just wait until that second pit stop, which we know is going to be coming for these guys. Neither one of them can take that tire all the way to the end. Possibly just waiting until he has fresher tires on it once again to see if he can make the move. He's going to lose a little bit of time on the changeover, but I think he'll be able to claw that back quite easily. Yeah, it just doesn't really seem to be closing down on him on the straightaway here. And
yeah, by default, Broken Reptile will get the undercuts on Mitch. But Mitch, if he can make these tires last, and looks like he's just trying to just conserve pace a bit, maybe he might be looking to go on the softer tire for the last part of this race. I don't know if he'll try to make a bid to go to the end on them, but it'll be interesting to watch here. As we see
indeed. Now Mitch could
Phantom's into the pits.
Actually, yeah, he is. Did he have any damage possibly?
Yeah, he had slapped the wall a couple times. I think he finally gave up, said I better come in and replace his front wing and go back onto a new set of the medium tires. And he's going to file in, and it looks like right in front of Jules. And TK finding a bit of time as he's maybe picked up extra wing damage, it looks like. But he's going to be right behind the McLaren driver. I mean, Mercedes driver, excuse me.
And UFR Ardell down there in 18th place set the fast lap of the race. So, not going to get an extra point down there, son.
Yeah, Ardell, our championship leader, he's not going to be happy coming out of this race if he does not make any points up. It's going to allow the guys behind him to make up quite a bit. I'll have to check the championship standings, but I believe he could lose first place. I'll have to double check on that again. As we see Mitch just following the McLaren driver quietly here, not challenging too much. You see ERS at 47%. But Broken Reptile is not using his either. His ERS is right there at 65. He's on the button right now. But I don't know if he knows that he doesn't need to defend entirely on Mitch as aggressively as he is.
Difficult to say without being inside their heads. So, have to see how this plays out with only 11 laps to go in the race. These two are starting to kind of open up a gap on Sergeant Milk behind them, about 13, almost 14 seconds now between Mitch and Sergeant Milk, so that is about probably 2/3 of a pit stop, half a pit stop, somewhere in there.
Tell you what,
Mitch Milk also going to have to make another pit stop as well, so he's going to drop considerably down the order when that happens.
Yeah, pit lane delta here is with the stops about 22, 23 seconds, and that puts ER10 Motorsport at P1 right now. Sergeant Milk with damage, having to probably come change those tires, is going to drop down the order. We expect Broken Reptile and maybe Mitch as well. So Get Me My Pipe, ER10 Motorsports, and Interior Titan sitting in the prime position right now.
Yeah, strategically this race always playing out a little bit questionable at this stage. We'll see how it pans out for everybody as things go on. The thing is, right now, these guys are going to end up in traffic if everybody else stays where they're at relatively right now. I think the pace is starting to level off just a bit.
And I see Mitch lose a bit of time to Broken Reptile. So Broken Reptile, even on 15-lap old medium tires, still very, very quick. He's on the overtake button. He's conserved a lot. So this McLaren driver. I mean, the car looked pretty solid in quali, and it's looking like his setup's working nicely for him here in the race and race trim as well. So I'd like to see these guys battle. Looks like Mitch is getting pretty aggressive, though. He has DRS open. He's closed up on the McLaren driver. He's making the move to the inside. And he's going to set a purple sector 3, and he's going to make the move on Broken Reptile. So nice, clean move there by Mitch. And just as soon as I said that he was losing a bit of time, the Renault driver makes the move for P1 and is now going to look to open up a gap to Broken Reptile.
He is indeed, and that's only going to hurt Broken Reptile a little bit, just trying to fight him, because now he's got Dirty Air to contend with as well. It makes such a huge difference in these cars, as far as the lap time. Once you get behind somebody who's got fresher tires, they're just going to pretty much drive away from you. As you can already see with Mitch doing that, he's already just pulled almost 0.8 of a second just in the first sector.
Yeah, we go down the order now to P3, Sergeant Milk. I mean, those tires look like they have just fallen off, and with broken front wing on that racing point, ER10 Motorsports closed up. He gave the driver a bit of a look into turn 1. ER10 Motorsport on 10-lap old hard tires has settled in through the second sector here, but he is looking pretty racy on that hard tire despite not having as much grip as some of these guys on softer compounds. And Give Me My Pipe a little bit off the pace from him, just down 3.5 seconds with Interior Titan, just 1.3 seconds behind him. Both these guys on the older set of hard tires. But ER10 Motorsport, if you can make it around Sergeant Milk and maybe start making up a bit of ground to Broken Reptile, you got to imagine that hard tire that he's on has a bit more pace than Broken Reptile right now.
Yeah, you would think at this stage of the race the hard tire is going to be a little bit better to be on once you get past about the 10 to 12 lap range. On that medium, it's going to be a bit quicker of a tire, at least more consistent of a tire. Got a safety car out.
Oh, and Broken Reptile's going to dive in, as is Mitch. Wow, so those guys catching a bit of a break. They were about to both go past the pit entry. And this is going to be huge for Sergeant Milk, too. He's going to be able to change that front wing and slap on a set of the soft tires and not lose a dramatic amount of time in the ER10 Motorsport. Probably a bit frustrated he make that move, but he should jump Sergeant Milk in the pits for P3.
Yeah, and we'll see exactly how far down Sergeant Milk will fall.
Look at this.
Yeah, everybody diving into the pits.
But Mitch and Broken Reptile make it out on the softer tire, but BRL Exia sitting on the hard tire. He's going to come out P3. Wow, he's going to be sitting duck as these guys are slapping on mediums and soft compound tires behind him.
We saw in Spain in the Tier 1 race that myself and Drolix slapped on a soft tire with a late safety car. And Alan, Hugo, and Jared were able to hold us up on relatively used hards at the end of the race, and we really weren't able to do much of anything with them. So it can be done, and there's not a whole lot of laps on those tires for both Phantom and Exia, and after a couple of laps, it might equalize. Now there's quite a bigger difference between the soft and medium performance-wise, and especially between the soft and the hard here. So you got to think we'll see these front two just drive away, but after the guys behind them, it's kind of questionable as to what can be done.
Yeah, and it's true, and it's hard to get around here. You know, we've seen Mitch and Broken Reptile be really, really clean as drivers as it is, but then able to conserve ERS and Exia as well. So, you know, Phantom and ER10 Motorsport, you know, those guys are going to be on the medium tires, and it's not like there's a dramatic pace difference between the two. And then when you get down to the soft tire runners, it's just Sergeant Milk and Give Me My Pipe. And, you know, we saw how hard it was for those guys to make any moves on the guy in front of them all race long. So, you know, you could be absolutely correct here. But a little bit of a race update. Mitch and Broken Reptile, those guys have been trading first and second position. Really the podium spots all race long. Broken Reptile finding a bit of luck where his teammate Echo did not. Exia coming up from the back of the pack. He's made a dramatic move this race. He's up 14 positions, so talk about driver of the day. If Cody's don't give it to Exia, I'd be surprised about that. And then we see Phantom. He was my dark horse. He kind of started down the order in the mid-pack there, up 4 positions. Year 10 Motorsport, what a surprise this is. I bet you he will be happy to get out of here with a strong finish and finding a bit of luck as he's struggled all season long to find any sort of luck and just has been caught out either by his own doing or by others. So ER10 Motorsport showing a nice race this far. He's put a nice drive together. Sergeant Milk, he's been pretty quiet. The Racing Point driver, showing good pace throughout. He's picked up a bit of wing damage in that last stint there. Didn't allow him to make any moves off the track. Give me my pipe. Very, very quiet. He was looking in prime position to make up points on Ardell, but sitting in 7th, not looking like that was going to be the case anymore. He was going to have to capitalize on those guys in front of him, stopping for at least a set of softer medium tires. But give me my pipe now in 7th. Interior Titan, the Haas driver, has had a great result earlier in the season. He won at Netherlands, didn't quite put it together in Spain or at Monaco, but he's hanging in there in P8. Ardell, our championship leader, found trouble early on in the race and dropped him quickly down the order to P19, or P18, I should say. So he'll be happy with his safety car. I bet you he's showing a bit of relief. Wrathful, Mercedes driver, again, just quiet, but he's going to have to keep it off the wall. Echo, Echo, found a bit of a lunge there on, I can't remember who he was racing. We got a little impatient, but he's going to be looking to kind of salvage a nice finish here. Test Signs, the Williams driver, been very quiet. Big hairy jock, Webster's boy, riding around P13. I think he'll be happy to finish this race. He's found a bit of trouble either with DNFs or just getting caught out, so big hairy jock. Oh, we see Mercedes of Sergeant Milk, and he's around. So these guys struggling to find heat in the tires under safety car, and when warming them up, it's easy to find yourself caught out. That's going to move everybody up the order. Run the Jewels, TK, Like Me or Not, Mitchie, all making their way around Sergeant Milk there. But these guys farther down the order, Run the Jewels, started on the hard tire. Not finding much pace. TK, bad luck, unfortunately, with the safety car there. Found a bit of trouble behind his teammate UFR Rage, and Like Me or Not, very quiet drive on his end, started at the back of the pack. Mitchie, bit of bad luck, but as we see these guys come around, and then Hockey has there, hopefully he'll salvage a nice finish as well. But that's a rundown of the race so far as we get ready to go back to green here. Turn it over to Flurry not to take us away.
All right, we got the field fanning out here behind Mitch at the front. Everybody weaving, trying to get heat in their tires, at least in the front. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? There he goes. And that's going to catch Exia out. Exia gets a terrible start compared to the front two cars there. Wrathful not really close enough to take advantage of that, unfortunately. And everybody else just kind of single file behind that until you see Echo and Interior Titan going side by side for P8. And, Exia hits the wall.
Oh, yikes, as we see Ardell dropping down the order there. Catching these guys out, reacting to what's going on in front of them. And real quick, just want to give a quick note. TK14, Run the... as we see Ardell get squeezed into the outside wall right there. Oh,
everybody
man, making contact.
Bumping,
Yikes,
banging,
guys.
slamming into each other here. This is,
it's not pretty.
How this needs to be going. No. A lot of contact right there.
This guy's getting frustrated here. It's not bumper cars, guys. It's expensive bits of carbon fiber on the front of that car there. Let's keep it clean.
Yeah, that just seems to be the order of the day here is bumper cars in Tier 3 and Tier 4.
The Mercedes driver's in the wall at Castles. It's going to back everybody up. This is unfortunate. It's all come apart for Phantom here.
Safety car again out.
Oh, yikes. And before we saw that action there, I want to make a quick note. TK14 Hockey, Like Me or Not, Run the Jewels, and Test Signs for some reason did not go after the safety car. Not sure if it was a Cody's glitch. I've seen that happen where it gives the driver an illegal overtake, and then you just see a couple guys jockeying back and forth because the game's trying to give them a penalty and they don't want to pick it up, and it's holding everybody else up behind them. But safety car again in the final late stages of this race. You got to think Mitch is probably not too happy about this. He got away very, very cleanly. And Broken Reptile did as well from Get Me My Pipe. Those guys were going to run away with it, but not looking like that's the case right now.
Yeah, not how things are wanting to be played out for the front guys. They want to get away and take advantage of those soft tires that they're on, including Get Me My Pipe, who's now made his way up to 3rd place, so going to possibly be looking to get even higher up. Got BRL Phantom in the pits there, as well as Big Hairy Jock and Sergeant Milk.
Exia not
damage.
Exia not stopping, and he's missing. He has a front red wing up on the right-hand side of the car. I mean, it's not looking good for him. No, I mean, he's missing the elements as well. So he's going to be a huge roadblock for the guys behind him.
Yeah, I kind of don't understand him not pitting there to get that wing changed, unless he just thinks he can sit on the apex for 3 or 4 laps and just still finish in the points.
Echo picking up a bit of end plate damage as well, but I'll tell you what, Interior Titan impressing me, able to navigate the choppy waters there after that last restart when those guys were just duking it out aggressively. He's kept his nose clean, and if he makes his way around Exia, he might be placing himself up front for a bit of a nice finish here. A potential podium if he can fight his way up there.
Yep, everything's still all to play for here.
As we go to our chat section of Twitch while we're under safety car, these guys making comments. SF1 not saying he knows who to root for anymore here. I'm with you, man. I don't know either. It's anybody's guess as to who can finish up the order from the mid pack, and you don't even know if those guys up front can keep it clean. So, very, very interesting race thus far. Curious to see how that Exia is going to work his way into, settling in after the start there. That broken wing. Let's see if we can get you an invite back. As we have our Racing Point driver, Sergeant Miller, try to find his way back into the session there. His car's in the pit lane. See, Hockey has his retired. The other Racing Point drivers lost it coming out of one of the corners there. He's going to be frustrated with himself right there.
Yeah, it was looking good for the Racing Points at one point, but now it's just it's all come unglued. As Big Hairy Jock now picks up a 5-second time penalty there. Oh, and bad to worse for Sergeant Milk there. Looks like he took control of the car and it just went straight on and knocked part of the wing off. So insult to injury, and
and he's retired. Yikes! And he finds himself in the wall there.
That's purposeful.
Well,
so now that raises the question of, does the safety car go in this lap or does it stay out another lap?
Safety car in this lap is two Racing Point drivers find trouble under the safety car. You never want to see that, but intentional or not, not good on their end to see their day end this way. Safety car conditions. No. Gotta keep it clean, guys, under safety car. No need to be
yeah, it looks like we are going to go green this lap.
And Mitch has got a big lead on Broken Reptile, who's backed up the field a bit.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it that much because you could lose a bit of time doing it that way. As we see Tess Science pick up a 5-second collision back there.
Yep. Now he's talking.
Mitch hasn't gone yet. He's waiting. He's waiting.
Yeah, he's waiting till the absolute last second, and this is just, I don't like seeing this. It just...
Echo making a move off the inside of Interior Titan. McLaren driver trying to salvage a bit of a nice result here, even with broken... Oh, and he gets hit from behind! Oh, yikes, this is going to drop him way down the order as we see Big Hairy Jock looks like got into the back, or no, Interior Titan did. Oh, no.
He shot to the back there, and that just completely wrecked his race. UFR Ardell man, we were talking about this guy just being annoyed with how he was performing. He's up to P4 now. He's on the medium tire, so I don't think he'll be able to do much with the 3 guys in front of him. But he's got ER10 Motorsports behind him, holding everybody up, also on the medium tire, possibly with a little bit of damage to the Alfa Romeo. Echo getting a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. I think he doesn't care at that point. His race is pretty much wrecked at this point.
Yeah, and give me my
UFR
pipe
Ardell.
here.
And TK as well. TK's up to P5.
I know the Ferrari driver thought it might be all over based on how the first part of his race went, but missing an end plate there, but he's going to scrap this one out. And looks to hold off ER10 Motorsport behind him.
Yeah, he's got by ER10, so I think he'll be all right. Because he's on that soft tire versus ER10's mediums. I think the problem's going to come when he tries to get up behind Ardell, who's a pretty similar pace driver with an undamaged car.
Now, I'll tell you what, Mitch, very clean driver, not a single warning, as does Broken Reptile, so this battle is going to have to take place on track as we see Big Hairy Jock retire from the session. Oh,
yeah,
no.
Down there at the virtual safety car this time. That should be the last time we see anything like that in this race. We're within 3 laps from the end of the race.
And Big Hairy Jock, Webster's boy, not able to put a finish together here tonight. Was looking pretty strong to do so, but losing it coming on to the front straightaway there.
And
see Interior
Titan
Titan's
also
retired
retiring
from the session.
So yeah,
he's probably frustrated, to say the least, and this is going to drop him down the order. But Echo, Exia, those guys at the back of the pack here, unfortunately for them. And see, Echo's retired. He's done. He's going to pack up and just going to leave this one behind him. Should be back to green condition.
Personally.
I can't either. That's unfortunate for him.
We are back to green, and TK wasting no time getting on the back of ER10 Motorsports. He wants to get around that Alfa Romeo as fast as possible and get away from that hungry pack of cars behind him. Give him a little tap right there into the cancel section, I think. This time around. Yellow flag in sector 1 for Echo's Ghost car exiting the pits. He is all over the back of that Alfa Romeo. Gotta think he'll have a move, at least a look down to turn 1 for
like me or not.
P6.
Like me or not, looking to follow the Ferrari driver all over the back of TK here. It's gonna go to the inside. TK on the button. Like me or not on the button, but man, looks like TK is really trimmed down on wing this week. One away from Like Me or Not, but not able to make a move on ER10 Motorsport as made his way back around the Ferrari driver. TK is going to be battling a little bit of front grip issues, missing that front end plate. But none of the guys up front, except for UFR Ardell, and I'm not sure if he even served the 5-second in the pits. I imagine he did, but none of the guys up front have any penalties to contend with. And when we see Mitch open up a almost 2-second gap to Broken Reptile, Mitch is looking to close this one out very strong on pace alone, and Broken Reptile looking to get a good result nonetheless. Get me my pipe in P3. On the final step of the podium, he's not going to get the big points advantage he was looking for over Ardell, but nonetheless is going to make up some points as we see our championship leader make his way into the castle section in P4.
Indeed, I think for Ardell, he really just needs to. He's got Mitchie closing up on him on that soft tire in the Alfa Romeo. I think he really just needs to not too much worry about that. He might get to him, he might make a move with a death, but I doubt it. He's a little bit far back for that. I think at 1.8 seconds, he's actually losing a little bit of time to the Red Bull in front of him through that run through sector 2. So I think this is pretty much going to be a done deal for UFR Ardell. The fight's really going to be here with TK. Can TK take advantage of, as BRL Phantom retires from the session there, looks like he's spun out. Mitch sets fast lap at 142.1. DRS should be enabled for this final lap, so for the run up to the line, actually it's enabled right now. TK with DRS now on ER10 Motorsports. How close can he get? He's going to go to the outside on turn 1.
Oh, this is going to be tight. Oh, they squeeze each other.
It is.
Oh, he caught a bit of the wall there.
And now Like Me or Not's going to... He took a look on the inside. He probably could have chucked it up there and held it. But thinks better of it.
These guys plowing through ERS are both out. Like Me or Not just sitting behind them looking to capitalize. We see it block. Both drivers lock up into turn 3 there as Like Me or Not gets into the wall on the corner exit. ER10 Motorsports quicker in some sections, but TK really trimmed down on downforce this week and able to make the move on the Alpha driver. Wonder if he's going to be able to hold him off, and if anything, Like Me or Not sitting with more ERS might be able to make a move on both of them. See, Exia set the fastest lap now with 141.6.
Indeed, he's outside the top 10, so that will not count for an extra point due to the fact he's outside of the points positions.
ER10 Motorsport and Like Me or Not struggling for a bit of traction and a bit of real estate through Castle. Like Me or Not coming out the biggest loser in that ordeal, losing a ton of time and ground to ER10 and TK in front of him. As TK locks up into the downhill section, he comes around to the final part of the track here and makes his way onto the front straightaway. ER10 is going to have DRS, but probably not enough ERS to make a move on this lap. The Alpha driver looking to probably just settle in and finish here with a P7, it looks like, as TK is going to be able to get this thing done. So we see our top drivers come around. Mitch and Broken Reptile and Get Me My Pipe take the podium positions. Ardell is going to come across the line at P4. Mitch is going to jump him based on that 5-second time penalty. TK is going to round out in 6th, ER10 in 7th, Wrathful 8th, Like Me or Not in 9th. Unfortunately, he had time penalties. And Run the Jewels is going to come across the line and looks like he's going to get P10.
Collected in the wall.
Yeah, looks like Run the Jewels is going to get points tonight. Survivor of the, it is there, it looks like, with Test Signs finding the wall and Exia well down the order. He's coming around. Oh, and he's lost it. Oh,
yep,
the same
he's
place
lost it as well. So
same place as Test Signs. Wow.
All right,
what a dramatic or undramatic finish to this race, depending on who you are. As we see driver of the day is going to be Mitchie at 5-0. So Mitchie, one of our newer drivers here in Tier 4. But got to hand it over to Mitch, man. He ran a quiet race all race long, and I apologize for missing him crossing the line there, but got caught up in that action back there. But Mitch and Broken Reptile, those two guys really were the class of the field today. Mitch getting the win, masterclass drive from him. And got to give it to Get Me My Pipe. The guy just survived and picked his moments of opportunity and kept it clean for the most part, and he finds himself on the podium step yet again. So the Williams driver getting another solid result here. Wonder if Ardell is going to challenge that 5-second penalty. Technically, he finished P4, but Mitchie jumping him there. We see those two drivers finishing 4th and 5th. TK in the Ferrari comes across the line in P6. He'll be happy with that, given how his race kind of unraveled at the beginning. ER10 Motorsport P7 in the other Alpha. Nice drive by him. Wrathful, uncharacteristic of this Mercedes driver. He's going to come across the line in P8, Like Me or Not, in P9. Run the Jewels. Points for the Renault driver. Nice quiet drive by him. Didn't talk too much about him. Eggsy is going to round out within 12th position with Test Signs is there. I believe would have liked the last two running off the conclusion there. And then the guys 13th through the end. A bit unfortunate. Some of those guys and tiring. So let's get in here. Gotta get Broken Reptile in here. I believe Mitch is coming in. And we are just waiting on Like Me or Not. Broken Reptile, did he already jump out of here?
Yep. He did.
I thought I had him on my friends list. But I'll turn it over to you for right now. I'll try to get Broken Reptile in here.
All right, well, we're going to start with the guy who won the race tonight. Actually, the only guy we got in here right now is Mitch. So, Mitch, you had that one pretty much all your own way, buddy. Started from P2, I believe. Pretty quiet race. Didn't get the best of starts, but it all seemed to work out. Um, Went through the pit stops and found yourself, I think, P3 at one point. Excuse me, at one point, and just kind of picked the two guys in front of you off slowly. Anything interesting aside from that to talk about tonight?
I mean, other than trying out the two-stop strategy instead of the soft to hard, just doing the soft to medium back to soft, that second pit stop that safety car couldn't have happened at a better time. I was coming down the back straight, and as soon as the safety car came out, dove right into the pits and was able to come out, and I think I was in first at that point, so that worked out really well. But other than that, it was just a race of attrition, try and survive, and so that's what my main focus was, trying to survive the castle section and not get too crazy with everyone.
Right, that just seems to be the run-of-the-mill order around here, is try not to get too crazy with things and just survive that castle section every lap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mitch, pretty quiet race on your end. Looking forward to Canada next week. Continue to move along on these strong performances, or what are your thoughts next week on next week's track?
I like Canada. It's the thing about Canada is all the grass runoffs you just run one tire off and your whole race is done, especially in the against that wall of champions as well. So it'll be a fun one. Usually Canada is a pretty fun race. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, I've tried a couple times to get Broken Reptile in here. He finished P2 on track. The McLaren driver coming out the better of the two. Echo was very, very quick all night long, had some strong pace. Unfortunately, just found bad luck at all the wrong times. And we know Get Me My Pipe doesn't have a mic either. So those guys rounded out your second and third place podium positions. I do want to say congratulations again to Mitch. He is our race winner tonight. And I'm going to turn it back over to Ferrari Nut to close this out, man. I appreciate you helping me commentate tonight.
Thanks, S.
You're welcome, bud. All right, folks, so that's going to do us here for Azerbaijan from the Baku City Circuit. We will see you in 7 days' time for Canada from the Ile Notre Dame and the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix for all tiers of BRL, starting with Tier 5 and the PC tier on Friday, and then running all the way through Monday with Tier 3 and Tier 4. It's been Ferrari Net 94 and Saxman 24 for BRL. We will catch y'all